Alright, hello and welcome back. So this time around I was curious to see the differences between the S-class structures and the B-class structures. And well, the perfect structures for this comparison would be the S-live and the B-live. And well, first aesthetically speaking, both of them are really different, but at the same time also really similar. And this is B-live. As you can see, she has a lot of skins, which is also the reason why she's one of the more interesting characters in the game. She's also getting a lot of free stuff from the developers from time to time, of course costume-wise. And well, on the other hand, we have the S-live, which is physically speaking a lot different, a lot more mature. And well, you definitely know what I mean by a lot more mature. You definitely know on what parts I am focusing on. And also she has some really unique outfits, this one being my personal favorite, which I'll be getting really soon, and they all look really good on her. Well then, those were the physical appearances and overall physical differences. Now, both these characters are the support class, the healers in the game. Both are pure physical, and both are excellent at their roles. Now there are also differences between the classes, between the S class and the B class. The S class, the S-live, will be a lot more effective in actual healing, and interestingly enough, the B rank, the B class, will be a lot more effective at DPS, which did surprise me a lot. Well, equipment-wise, the gear for both of them is literally the same, since their role would be support and mostly healing. But again, at the same time, I always say that you can do, since they are physical, you can pretty much gear them out as you like, and of course both of them work in any team, because every DPS team will need a healer, and both of these characters are excellent at their roles. Now, like I said, the S-live appears to be a lot more better at actual QTE healing, as you will see later on in the video. And well, as for the B-live, you can call her B-live if you like, I mean it works. She's also pure physical, also excellent at healing, and in this case, she's also excellent at DPS. And in the tests, you will be really surprised by the DPS output of this character. Now, I have this character on S class, so pretty much she is even, well, she's not even, since my S-live is double S and she's only S, but she's a lot closer to the double S rank, and pretty close to the S-live in terms of that. Well, gear-wise, pretty similar, if not pretty same. They both use same equipment and same memories. And that's a good thing, since that means you can pretty much interswitch and interchange the gear. As for the teams, again, it is a healer, and any team can benefit from a healer, so she can work in any team that you throw at her, or should I say in any team that you throw her in. And well, in my case, I'll be using the 2 DPS team, 2 single DPSs, and you will see that she will do quite well. Well then, I think it's kind of time to jump in the stages and see their actual performance. And well, this week we have, I think it's the fire stage and the lighting stage, both of which are going to be really interesting. And well, let's see how both of these characters will perform. Okay, well, we are starting things off with S-live, since she is pretty much the first on the S classes have, well, I usually start the first match with them. And well, this character has a really interesting combo. You match a blue combined with one yellow, and then she will do her little combo, and then you can maximize your damage, because you will get a extra hit when you pop that blue. And of course, this character has a rare weakness effect on enemies for herself, a 20% damage reduction that you can spawn when you use the blue orbs, the blue signals, while S-Leaf has a 20% passive increased DPS for pretty much the entire team. A really overpowered buff for a B class character, but that's not the end of the whole story. She is also really good, and really, when I say really good at DPS, you will be surprised by the damage differences on these characters. And by the way, I use the same equipment on both of the structures, and both of them are good with that gear. The memories that I use on this character is also known as my personal immortal live, since as you can see she has almost 10,000 health. She used to have 10,000 health. I don't know what happened with my memories. I think something got tweaked in the meantime, but this is my immortal live setup. She literally cannot die with the memories that I currently have on her, and it is really good at Warzone and at pretty much any other slightly more difficult stage, because you don't have to switch her out, you just have to keep on playing, and well, she just cannot die. Alright, well, let's see the score. 89,000, well, pretty decent for a healer. Well then, let's see how she will do at the same stage. Now keep in mind, like I said, she's using the same equipment, same weapon, same everything with S-Leaf, and well, you can see the difference between damage so far. The damage output on this character is higher, and on the other hand, her combo is blue combined with red. Then she will do her animation, and then she will do her attack, which is also really powerful, and a good, well, should I say area? Well, it is kind of a area attack, since you can hit multiple enemies at once with it, but it is more like a burst type attack. Well, her range is also really nice. She is really easy to play, by the way, really easy to play, and you will not have any problems with her commands, controls. Evasion on both of the characters is pretty good. I like the evasion on S-Leaf because you can evade really late, and the evasion animation will pretty much allow you to still evade properly without getting hit. On this character it is pretty similar, but her evasion is kind of a little bit different in terms of different kind of a millisecond slower, but still it is pretty good, and it is really responsive, and you will not have any problems with the character at all. And keep in mind, you get this character pretty much for free when you start the game, so you get a really powerful multi-purpose medic that will work as a DPS, as a support, and will work even as a tank. Now, health wise, you will see a difference in health. Only 8.3 health, 8.3 thousand compared to 9.7 thousand, but that's okay. That's pretty much the differences between the ranks and such. Both are level 80, both are maxed out, by the way. All are the same rank, same class, same everything. And let's see the Warzone. And did you see the score, by the way? 802,000. That's a really interesting score for a healer, and especially for a B class, and higher than my S-Leaf, which I first when I saw that I was really surprised. Higher than my S rank, a B class won over a S class. Really interesting, and the trade-off is also really interesting, since, like I said, this character is really good at QTE healing and at overall healing. She is the best medic that we have in the game, and a really powerful medic. You can also heal with the B1, but it is slightly less, and she has, as a trade-off, a higher DPS than the S variant of that character. Well, the lighting stage so far going pretty smoothly. 1 minute left on the timer and I am progressing to the floors, easy. And I can definitely tell you, you will be again surprised. Maybe not, depends from person to person, I guess, but I was pretty surprised when I saw the differences between the damages of these two characters. So let's pop that ultimate and let's keep on moving. 35 seconds left, and I would guess a score of around, again, 90,000, 85,000. We will see. And well, we will see the score with the B class live. I'm pretty curious to see how that will work out. Okay, well, let's see if I can manage to take out these two mobs. And her ultimates are also really different. The ultimate of B-Live targets a group of enemies, while the ultimate of the S-Live pretty much targets one enemy at a time, and of course it will heal you while the enemy gets hit and you get health in return. On the other live, it is pure DPS, pure damage, which is also really interesting. Well, 83,000, okay, I was pretty close with my expectation. Let's see how this character will work, and let's see how her score will show after the end of the match. Okay, now you can just spam the copper, and also her yellow skill creates a black hole which can suck enemies in, making them really vulnerable to area attacks and group attacks, or in this case her personal attack. As you can see, I'm wiping the floor with them so far. Well, let's see, the ultimate will be popped up, there we go. And as you can see, she targets a group of enemies with ease and hits most of them. And as for health regeneration wise, you can monitor my health. You also get health back as you match orbs, pretty much the same way as you get health back as you match signals with the S-Live. And one thing though that requires a bit practice is when you play her and when you use the blue plus red combo, you really have to be careful to hit the majority of enemies like this, because sometimes you can just target one enemy and sometimes waste the combo, which happens to me, but I am trying to avoid wasting the DPS. Well, so far so good. She's doing a really good job at most of the stuff that I throw at her. I didn't expect a B class to be this powerful. Keep in mind, this is a B class fighting a S class, and so far she is winning. She is winning big time. Overall, at least damage wise, she is outperforming S-Live by damage. And keep in mind, I use the same gear, same equipment, pretty much same everything on both of these characters. There is no advantage or disadvantage to any of them. Pretty much a fair comparison, as I like to do always. Well, let's see the score. I'm really curious to see what the numbers are this time. Okay, let's see. I bet 100,000. Well, 100,000. I was close. And again, a slightly higher score than on the S-Live. Really surprising results. Well then, time to fight some bosses. And this is where S-Live will... I personally think S-Live is kind of better at bosses. Mostly because I did build her to be immortal, so you can fight these bosses even 1 hour if you want to, and she just cannot die. Well, time to test out the healings of both of these characters. And well, first I will get myself, well, I'll allow Bianca to get damaged, and then once the health gets critical, I'll just switch in live, and then we can see how much health she can restore. And well, with this current build, she does restore a lot of health. You can pretty much revive your own structure from 1% to like 50, 60, 70, 80% without a problem. And with a full healer setup, you can regenerate more than 10,000 health per QTE, and that is enough to heal your entire team entirely. So let's see the health, there we go. As you can see, she healed almost 50%, more than 50%, with the current build that I have, and that's pretty fair with the build I expected. I expected a lot more, but it turns out it is around 50-60%, which is still pretty nice. And okay, well, that's pretty much one of the most important traits of the character. She can pretty much revive your structure from 1% to 100% in one QTE, or pretty much with one summoning. When you can also summon them with the 3 balls, 3 signals, and then you can pretty much pop all the 3 signals, and she will regenerate health in a area, and that is really effective, really good, and that makes her one of the most important and one of the best healing support characters in the game. And well, let's see how the Believe can perform and how she can heal. Well, against bosses, both of them are really good. You can pretty much make this character to be also immortal if you like, and I think I will try to do the same setup. I just have to find the perfect memories to make her immortal, since the memories that I use on Asleep and on this character kinda don't have the same effect on them because of their differences, little differences, but those little differences truly are important. Well, like I said, the Believe has slightly lower healing abilities, at least with these memories, and I personally think that she does need the other memories to be a really effective healer. And also, Asleep will give you a shield on top of the health that she restores, which is also really important, and that is something I really like about that character, which is how useful is Asleep, really useful. And this character is also really fantastic. Just I'd say compared to Asleep, the Believe is a bit harder to play, mostly because she doesn't have the iframes during the combos and during her attacks and orbs compared to Asleep. Asleep does have them, and it is a lot easier to dodge with them once you get used to it, of course. And the animation on Asleep is just amazing during the evasion, because you literally can evade really late and still survive unscratched. Well then, time to finish up with the ball. As you can see, a slight difference in, well, not a slight, a kind of almost major difference between the healing ability of the Believe and Asleep. As much as there is a difference between the DPSs of both these characters, the Believe just dominates in DPS, pretty much dominates the S-class in terms of DPS. But the S-class dominates her in terms of healing, which is, I think, a pretty fair trade-off, especially since when you start the game you need to have a really good DPS character, and Believe can definitely be a really good DPS character, which is really surprising. So far in the games that I played, I didn't find any B ranks a lot useful in terms of DPS, and the B ranks in Punishing Raven so far are dominating. You can even make them be more powerful than the S ranks, as you can see in my case over here. Well, the next boss. Now here I will show you how hard to kill this character is. Just keep in mind, I usually like to switch them when I run out of evasion, because when they are in the background they can regenerate evasion, and then I usually switch them back in. So here you can just watch how the Asleep is tanky when I switched her in. You can keep an eye on my health and keep an eye on what I do on the field when I get hit, and you will see me regenerating health really quickly. And also, something really important, her ultimate gives her I think it is a 80% resistance, but I could be wrong, since I think it is either 80% or 30% more resistance. I would go with 30% resistance, since it is the lesser mistake. So during her ultimate you will get I would call it a iron body, but you will get a 30% resistance buff on all incoming damage, making her even more tankier. And besides a good healer, Asleaf is a fantastic active tank. I have also a active tank setup for Asleaf that I like to use because she just dominates with it, and when I have to fight a really annoying boss and there is no timer, I just pop Asleaf, and well, it takes 10 minutes, but I kill the boss with 100% health while getting hit constantly. So this is one of the reasons why I really like the character. Her flexibility in terms of building is absolutely insane. And well, let's jump on to Believe and let's see how she will perform on this boss. And well, also a major difference that some people might notice. Well, in this case, a lot of people will notice since I know who watches my videos. Okay, the jiggle physics on Asleaf are, well, pretty obvious since she does have them to jiggle, you know. Well, Believe over here is pretty bored like, but that's not a big problem, you know. They say flat is justice. Well then, excuse me while I go lock my door before the FBI busts through in. Okay, well, all jokes aside, the differences between the characters is really sometimes really interesting. I really like the progression that they made, the physical, obvious age progression between the characters. I think that's a pretty good touch to the game, a really interesting touch to the game. And well, you could see Believe not regenerating health upon ultimate as compared to her older self, I guess. And also a really interesting thing about these two characters, all the other lives, well, the A1 and B1 walk, while the S1 floats. Really interesting. I don't know why she floats. I mean, I would float if I could, but I can't, unfortunately. Well, I mean, that kind of explains my question, why she floats. Who wouldn't float? If you could float, I would definitely. Okay, and this sleeve is also appearing to be kind of tanky, but she's not on the same tanky level as the S-sleeve. Mostly because they work kind of differently in terms of tank, and I will need a different setup for Believe for a tank setup. But she is appearing to be quite tanky in this case. Well, and let me just switch in to get. I will give the kill to Asleaf. There we go. Not to Asleaf, to Believe. My apologies. That was a really nice evasion, a nice ending animation, should I say? Oh man, well, it is. My apologies if I make some dumb mistakes. It's like 2 a.m. when I record this, and I'm tired. Okay, on to the next boss, Dark Kamui, and well, we are going to start with Asleaf, of course. And let's see. Well, this is one of those bosses that will require, and it is recommended that you have a healer when you fight this boss. Or in this case, you can be the healer and fight the boss, which is also working pretty well. And this boss is one of those that was reworked in the latest update. They made him tankier. I said this before, well, I just want to repeat myself. They made him tankier, they gave him different attacks, and again, an example of the Asleaf tankiness. That hit would usually kill. It can one-shot a structure, depends on what structure you're talking about. But in my case, I took less than 40% of total HP damage, and well, recovered 99% of it in the next second. I like that a lot. Like I said, oh, this will be a long blade. Oh my god, that was so satisfying. He got dumpstered by Alpha. Okay. Well, now I can't see anything because of the effects. I just go in blind pretty much because I can't see anything from the animations there, and from the, well, I got comboed really hard. Took 30% damage. Okay. Well, there we go. The immortal live strikes again. and that was a pretty smooth fight. You could see, you can see why I love this character so much. She cannot die, pretty much. It's really hard to die with the character with the current setup that I have. Well then, there come we with the Believe, and well, one thing that I definitely noticed is the damage increasement that she has compared to Aslev, but I wouldn't risk in getting hit since I don't know how much tanky will that build make her. So far I wouldn't say that she's tanky at all, but she appears to be quite decently tanked. Okay, well, I'm really surprised so far. This is not the same. Okay, what the hell? Why does this boss do a lot less damage to B rank live than to S rank live? This is some black magic going on over here. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, this is some black magic going on. I don't know. I'm confused. Shouldn't work, but it works. Well, you know what they say? They say if it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid. So if it works, well, I will not complain. I think I'm slowly changing my mind, and this might very well be the tanky Believe. I don't know. You can tell me that in the comments. I'm really curious to hear on what you think about this Believe that I have. And as usual, I'll give the kill to Believe, since why not? There we go. Pretty nice. Pretty smooth, actually. Well then. So far, really surprising results that we have. Really surprising results. It appears to be that balance in the game so far is really strong. And I like balanced stuff in games. Balance is really important. And in this case, they balanced out the DPS and DPS compared to the overall damage done, which is, like I said, a fair trade-off. And keep in mind, you can get S-Slave pretty easily with the I think it's the S card that we all get in this version, in this server. And I think that's one of the good things about that. And of course you get a 40 pull guarantee on start, and well, in my case, my guarantee was S-Slave, surprisingly or not surprisingly. I got her actually 3 times in my gacha pulls back then, and well, since then I was using the character as my main DPS until I got alpha, and now I use the character as a really powerful hybrid DPS, support, tank, medic. Pretty much she's everything that I want her to be. And really interesting that the Believe is also really good. But at first I didn't level her up because I got S-Leaf so quickly, but now when I think about it, I should have went with Believe for DPS and S-Leaf for health, since as you can see so far, Believe definitely dominated S-Leaf in terms of DPS, at a fair trade-off with S-Leaf dominating Believe on healing ability. Well, this was a really interesting comparison. I think this might very well be one of my favorite comparisons, since I realized how balanced the characters in this game are. Pretty balanced, and having balance in games like this is always a really good thing. That means the developers know what they're doing, and the developers are actually knowing what they're doing so far. Well then, I think it's time to say a final word for the characters as a little, I guess, post-video talk. The S-Sleeve is definitely a fantastic DPS and a fantastic tank, and even better medic. Overall, a really solid all-around jack in all trades character. Believe, on the other hand, is a phenomenal DPS when geared out and when built. She can even be a better DPS than she is right now in this case, because I'm using a hybrid setup. She is a good healer, but definitely S-Sleeve appears to be healing a lot more. And overall, both of these characters have their fair share of pros and cons, and that makes them both really valuable and both really balanced. Well then, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. It is my pleasure to play this for you. And well, with that being said, I will see you next time. Take care.